This week on Capitol Report, less than 4 months until Election Day, protecting women's reproductive rights remains a critical issue for Democrats.
We respect women. We respect their right to make their own reproductive choices.
Senator Blumenthal makes abortion the focal point of his latest political ad.
Mitch McConnell wants Republicans to take control of the Senate and pass a national ban on abortion.
While a Republican candidate for Senate takes a swipe at her primary opponent in her latest ad.
I'm running to take the fight to Biden, Blumenthal, and all the career politicians who have failed us.
Plus, how rosy is Connecticut's financial outlook? That depends who you ask.
What I wanted to do was make sure that taxpayers had some confidence that we had a budget that was built to last.
With that kind of surplus in Hartford and the rainy day the residents of Connecticut are feeling right now, this is a massive opportunity to give people some relief.
And Senator Chris Murphy takes yet another summer stroll across Connecticut.
A lot of the people I meet along the way during these walks, they provide ideas for me to bring to Washington and develop into legislation.
Capitol Report starts now. Welcome to Capitol Report. I am Tom Dutchy. We are so glad you're spending part of this July Sunday morning alongside the Starsky & Hutch of Connecticut politics, Joe Simowitz. So who would you be, Starsky or Hutch?
So I think I'd go with Starsky.
You go with Starsky?
Yeah. It's Hutch.
Johnny McKinney, the Hutch of Connecticut politics.
I'll take either one. There you go.
All right, guys. Well, if you thought Roe versus Wade and abortion wasn't going to become an election issue here in Connecticut, think again. Pick a race, any race. It's an issue, my friends, and a big one at that. Democrats are reminding voters that even though safe access to legal abortion is being protected here in Connecticut, those rights inching closer to a precipice if Democrats lose control in Washington. So let's start with the race for governor. Governor Lamont delivered an open invitation to businesses in states banning abortion. Watch this.
So this may be a time for you to think about taking a look at Connecticut as a place to move your business. A place maybe your employees feel more at home, perhaps you feel more at home, your customers could better identify with our values.
Even made the rounds on CNBC's Squawk Box to keep making his pitch to businesses. Watch this.
Let's face it, companies move, employees want to be identified with companies, investors want to be identified with companies, invest in companies for a variety of reasons, and one of them may be values. And so we say when you think about Connecticut, maybe it's our stable fiscal outlook, maybe it's our great schools, maybe you want to be in a place where your employees, especially your female employees, feel welcome and we respect their choice.
So, guys, what do you think? Is this a legitimate pitch for the Gov to make, Joe?
Yeah, I think companies do look at values. It's many things they look at. They look at, obviously, taxes. They look at accessibility, transportation. But values do matter. And putting it out there to companies and potential investors that Connecticut may be more in line with what they believe, I think it's a good sell.
This is about politics. Look, our values in Connecticut haven't really changed. Neither have the values of people in Texas or Florida or Tennessee. And yet we've seen businesses leave New York, Connecticut, California, and go to Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. In fact, those businesses are now saying, we'll pay for women to go to states if they need to get an abortion. That's a lot cheaper for the business than just moving their business to Connecticut. But smart politics. The governor wants to talk about abortion rights. This is a way to do it. He doesn't want to talk about the economy. He doesn't want to talk about Joe Biden. Smart politics, not good policy.
Joe, calculated, you figure?
I don't know that it's calculated. I think it's really what he believes. When you talk to him, and I talk to him frequently, I think we all have, he really does have beliefs. He believes in the state of Connecticut. He believes in its values, and I think it's just one of the things that he puts out there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think this is a genuinely, strongly held core belief by Governor Lamont. I just think it ends up being good politics. I don't think it's going to be a reason why a company moves.
All right, guys, so like I said a bit earlier, Democrats are making abortion a big-time election issue. Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal not holding back in his latest campaign ad. Check it out.
Mitch McConnell wants Republicans to take control of the Senate and pass a national ban on abortion. That would erase Connecticut's law, which protects a woman's right to choose. He's only one seat away from control. Connecticut could be the deciding vote. We need to stop them.
And what about the three Republicans who will face off in a primary in less than 1 month? Democrats Peter Lamage, Leora Levy. Levy, a conservative, did something very interesting in her latest political ad. Focus on the final few seconds of this clip. Take a look.
Connecticut deserves a senator who will always put America first. I'm running to take the fight to Biden, Blumenthal, and all the career politicians who have failed us.
That right there, Levy lumping her Republican opponents Themis Claridis with President Biden and Senator Blumenthal, and Levy doesn't stop there. Last week she sent out a campaign email tearing into Claridis, writing, quote, "I am running in a primary against the next," get this guys, Liz Cheney. "My primary opponent will abandon Republicans during key votes and supports radical, un-American ideas and Democrat policies because she has before." So what does Themis Claridis think about this? We asked her, and Claridis says, quote, "Well, she means someone who will follow the Constitution and fight to cut spending and taxes to secure our borders and for a robust national defense. She's right. I'll put up my record of common sense conservatism, voting for policies that help my constituents and put the state in a better place up against anyone. I support parents, police, and free enterprise, and I can't think of anything more American than that." Johnny Mac, what do you think?
I think Themis Claridis said it really well, and she's right. Is abortion going to be an issue in the Senate race? Yes, it is. Themis Claridis has an issue, has a long history of being pro-choice, being in favor of all women's rights issues, and not just in favor of it, Joe, but as you know, a real leader in the legislature on that. I don't think Leora Levy's going to win on this issue. Yes, there are a lot of pro-life Republicans in Connecticut. There's a lot of pro-choice Republicans as well, and I don't think that issue is going to move Republican voters in the primary.
Yeah, that was a strikeout. I've said before, I think some of her views almost make her, it should be making her ineligible to run for office, but that's just another one. Themis's record on women's rights, whether it's working at the shelters and working with women that suffer domestic violence, women's rights issue is unmatched, and it's in the right place. I really object to the whole Liz Cheney introduction too. I mean,
yeah, Johnny Mac, is that a good strategy and tactic of Levy to kind of go hard right?
First of all, it's a cheap shot, and second of all, I know a lot of people who respect Liz Cheney for standing up for principle and trying to get to the bottom of what happened on January 6th, no matter who gets the fallout.
I felt so strongly, John. I've donated to Liz Cheney's campaign now because she is doing the right thing. Is she put the facts out there. Let people know. We'll all make our own decisions ultimately, or the Department of Justice will. But to have the courage to stand up and face the Republican primary now was something I just couldn't stand by and watch.
Yeah, and let me just say one more thing. And I understand this is what we do in politics. It's not real criticism. But Senator Blumenthal's claim that Mitch McConnell, if he gets 51 votes in the Senate, will pass a national ban on abortion is false. Mitch McConnell had control of the Senate with President Trump and the Republicans, and it was Donald Trump who said, get rid of the filibuster. Mitch McConnell said, I'm not going to do it, whether I'm in power or not. The only one who's talking about getting rid of the filibuster are the Democrats. Mitch McConnell, you may not like him, but on that issue, he is a man of principle.
Look, I think there's enough of the Republicans in D.C. that are talking about it. The House is really talking about control to do something like that. The Senate is a little more complex with the filibuster, but what the filibuster does is stop progress too. The way it was initiated, the way it's now used. Let's have our politicians do their jobs, vote on things for the American people, and that's currently not happening in D.C.
Doesn't stop progress, it forces compromise.
All right, guys, so Connecticut's 5th congressional district shaping up to be one of the most competitive in the state. Congresswoman Jahana Hayes looking to win a 3rd term, but Republican George Logan digging in for the fight. The political forecast site 538.com now calling the 5th district to toss up. Their modeling simulates Hayes winning 53 out of 100 times. Republican has not held the seat in Congress in years. The abortion issue made its way into the 5th last week when the U.S. Health and HHS Secretary paid a visit to a Planned Parenthood and was joined by Hayes. Her competitor George Logan says she is pro-choice, and if elected, he would look to protect abortion rights here in Connecticut. Watch this.
I am for a woman's right to choose, and I believe it should be safe, legal, and rare. But I have to say, though, I am adamantly opposed to late-term abortions.
Safe, legal, and rare. Johnny Mac, interesting choice of words. You think he's messaging something there?
Well, he is. You know, we've heard Congresswoman Hayes talk about there should be no restrictions on abortion. She's since walked that back and said, well, it would depend on a woman dealing just with her doctor. Well, that is a position of no restrictions. Look, that's an extreme position. A majority of pro-choice Americans, not just Americans, pro-choice Americans support some restrictions on late-term abortions. Now, there may be differences, 14 weeks, 15 weeks, 20 weeks, I think we have in Connecticut viability standard. But having no restrictions on when you can have an abortion in a term, absent the health and safety of the mother, is an extreme position, and that's where Johanna Hayes is.
Yeah, I think she needs to clarify it a little bit, and maybe that's what she was referring to, the discussions with the doctor and the mother, and it's the, you know, all that things being considered, but you do have to explain it more. I've had more discussion over the last 2-3 weeks about abortions than I think I have in my entire career, and people really are mixed, John. I don't think you're wrong. It really comes down to the timing. The late-term abortions is not something I think has a lot of support here in the state of Connecticut.
And what's fascinating is we've been talking about this race for a while. I've been predicting George Logan is going to win. I think the abortion issue may help Congresswoman Hayes get her base out, but I think in the 5th Congressional District, that issue is not as important as, say, it may be in the 4th District or the 3rd District.
Joe, and even within your own party, there are differences in people's and how they view the abortion issue, from the left to the more moderate members of your party.
Oh, absolutely. And some of the discussions I've had is anywhere from Connecticut law is currently where it's at, 20 weeks. After that, you know, it has to really be an extreme case of the mother's safety. I've heard others say 26. I have heard very few say late-term abortions is something they would support and they'd want to put their check yes or no on the ballot for.
But it is the position of Jillian Gilchrist and many others in your party, Joe, and that's an issue I think Republicans can talk about, especially if you're a pro-choice Republican like Themis Claridis and George Logan.
Yeah, I think it makes the discussion more complex. And are the voters' ears open to that? Are they actually going to weigh it out, or is it just a yes or no question?
All right, guys, up next on Cap Report, the ups and downs with Connecticut's new paid medical and family leave program. Is it actually achieving what the lawmakers set out to do? Newsday's chief political correspondent, my pal Jody Latina, is here to break it all down. We get back in the New Haven studio, guys. See you in a little bit.